Hey guys, what's going on? Watomo Millen back again, and this is going to be the video where I hit veteran. It's a crazy finish to the veteran grind, but it's a lot of fun to play the meta right now, even though you see a Wigglytuff on your screen swapping into a Bastiodon. We're starting things off pretty horribly. God, I hate Wigglytuff, Bastiodon, Annihilate, Dugong. All those Pokemon are just so frustrating. Anyways, the team that I'm running is Gligar on the lead, not the Shadow. Then I have two Shadows in the back. I've got Drapion and Typhlosion. All of these Pokemon are using their standard movesets. It's not the most creative team that I've ever made. It's, a standard ABB style team. Basically, you have two Pokemon that are weak to ground in the back, and so you safe swap your Drapion, which has Aqua Tail, so it does reasonably well into grounds as a safe swap. You're trying to bait out the grounds, and obviously the grounds will beat it, but oftentimes you can either get them to use all of their energy, or you can get a shield off of them. And so Shadow Drapion is just such a good swap. And then you're just using Shadow Drapion to bait out the ground Mud Slappers, so that your Typhlosion can go crazy against other Pokemon. And obviously Gligar is something where once you bait out the ground can't do anything to Gligar. And Gligar, the reason I'm not using Shadow is, one, I don't have a Shadow built, but also I like the bulk of having the non-Shadow. There are certain Pokemon, for example, Greninja is kind of coming into the meta right now, and it is super powerful. So I like having the non-Shadow because it can tank a Hydro Cannon no problem. So you can see back comes in the Wigglytuff. They actually had a Jellicent as their third, which is a bit surprising, but I was able to take them out. I just throw the Aerial Ace immediately because the worst case scenario would basically be that I don't do enough damage to this Wigglytuff and they knock me out with Icy Wind. But you can see that I do enough, and I'm able to get the Thunder Punch, and that will allow me to take the W here. So overall, this is my first video made during this season, and I would say that I actually like a lot of the changes they've made. There's certain Pokemon that I think might be a little bit overtuned. This person's using Whimsicott, which is a fun Pokemon, but Dedenne, for example, with Parabolic Charge, it's reminiscent of Morpeko, but I think that Dedenne has a little bit better of a stat product than Morpeko. So the thing about Morpeko is that if you have any fast move pressure of any type, it's just going to get completely melted. Specifically things like Dragon Breath, you can really do a lot into a Morpeko with your Dragon types, whereas Dedenne just completely resists that. So it's a little bit difficult, and once it has all of those boosts, it's really hard to deal with. But other than Dedenne, I'm trying to think of other things that are a little too strong. Diggersby comes to mind, but Diggersby hasn't been buffed this past season. It's more that the meta around it has changed. Gligar is really good. I saw that Shadow Gligar has the highest rating on PvPoke within the condensed meta, so seems to be pretty solid. So there's a lot of cool stuff. But talking a little bit more about the team, basically you can see that a lot of these leads I lose, and I'm still able to play them out because it's ABB style. So here you can see that obviously you don't love seeing a Golisopod on the lead, but I'm able to get them to swap out into their own Shadow Drapion, which I'm glad to see this here because it's a pain for my Typhlosion to deal with. And luckily they actually use their energy, which means I can just come back in with Typhlosion and farm them all the way down, and they throw in bad timing, so I take less damage, which is nice. So you can see now I have a Thunder Punch and an extra Incinerate, and so I'm just going to bait against this Credilli because they're probably expecting that I'm going to go straight Blast Burn and just swap into my Gligar, but what I'm actually going to do is just throw a bunch of Thunder Punches to make them sad, and then I'll go into my Gligar, and then now they go into Golisopod, but I can just get an Aerial Ace, which is super effective, and tank any of their moves and farm them down. So this is a one game, and they're going to throw their Aqua Jet. They haven't yet realized that they have lost, but you will see that it is not a problem. And so now they go into their Credilli. Fury Cutter is a really nice move because it, one, helps you out against Greninja, but also these annoying Pokemon like Credilli allows you to farm them down quite nicely. So there we are, picking up another W here. Now I'm facing off into someone who's already a veteran. You can see I get a horrible lead for like the 10th time in a row, and so I have to swap in my Shadow Drapion. I go into Drapion. They actually don't throw immediately, and so I was expecting a catch, so I throw on kind of a weird timing. They don't, what am I trying to say? They don't try to catch, they just shield it. I let the Hydro Cannon go because I don't want to get into this extended matchup with Feraligatr. They end up going Umbreon, which is not good for me, and so I just throw the Blast Burn hoping to get some damage off onto it. They actually shield, and so I just go into Gligar because I don't want to take any moves on my Typhlosion. But in retrospect, I don't know whether I should have just stayed in and thrown another Blast Burn, then gone into Gligar. But I'm just afraid that Feraligatr will completely destroy me. So I just have to take this damage. Again, Fury Cutter is helping out, but it's an Umbreon, and that stat product just makes it such a menace. And you'll see they go into an Azumarill, and at this point I'm like, dear God, it's hard to come up with a team that, these double water teams, specifically ABB or ABA style water, are huge problems for my team because both Typhlosion and Gligar are ABA weak to water. I'm trying to do what I can, and I think I've actually played this game reasonably well. Even though that's a resisted Ice Beam, I still have to shield it up. I'm going to go for my Thunder Punch, and at this point, I know that they have a move on both Feraligatr and Umbreon. I have to shield this, and so I'm predicting they go for a combo play because I have to. They don't, and so I end up just throwing on the Umbreon. This means that they can just go into Feraligatr and throw, and I lose the game, which kind of sucks. If I had swap up, I could have just swapped Gligar, but I was like a second too short, and you can see I do end up losing that one. But on to, I think this is the set where I actually get my my veteran push. So here, an excellent lead. Malamar takes double super effective damage from my Gligar. Here you can see I safe swap Drapion, and I just throw the Aqua Tail in case they're nervous about a crunch, and you can see they actually fall for it, which is nice because this basically means that I'm up a shield with Typhlosion, and also Gligar in the back is going to completely eat through that Malamar. So I'm in really good shape here, and even though they knock me out, I can just go into my good friend Gligar and farm them. Well, actually, I beat them to an Aerial Ace, so I probably just throw the Aerial Ace to knock them out, and that's exactly what I do on Charge Attack Priority. And this will knock them out, and then now they have to go into their back, and it is our good friend Caesar, which Typhlosion 2 shots with Incinerate, so at this point I've just won because I'm up shields and up energy on my Typhlosion, and Typhlosion completely eats away at their backline. Typhlosion's actually a really good pick right now. I've realized that it's pretty cracked because of all the bugs that have come into the meta. It was already, I think, good last season, and there's less Mudslop and more bugs, and so I think it's just even better than last season. But anyways, I was at like 24.55, I think, on this set. In the previous, one of my earlier sets, I had gotten 45 elo, and so I was like, maybe if I get a 4-1, I can get to veteran, but I thought I needed a 5-0. And you can see here that I'm 4-0 in the set. They go and they have a Dugong lead against my Gligar, which is the worst possible lead. And then I was like, okay, I'll go Drapion. I can throw my Crunch before they get to an Icy Wind. And while that's suboptimal, it is what it is. They respond to my Drapion with Annihilate, and at this point, I know I've lost the game. I'm like, oh my goodness. I thought I needed a 5-0 to reach veteran, and I was like, I'm just going to miss it with a 4-1. And I know at this point they have a Bastiodon in the back because this is a very common team. I played out just to make sure they have a Bastiodon, and they do. I don't know, man. Bastion, I hate Mud Slap, but the one good thing about Mud Slap is that it makes Bastion less usable. Bastion is just, I said it in my last video, I'm pretty sure. It's just an anti-fun Pokemon. It's not that it's a broken Mon. It's not that there isn't counterplay. It's just, oh, you know, did I rock, paper, scissors you? Oh, am I using 3 Pokemon with fast move pressure that I just double shield? And so, you know, it's a bit frustrating. I don't know why I'm even playing this out. I'm holding on to hope that, you know, maybe I can somehow do something, but at this point, it's so clearly GG. I don't know why I'm playing this out, but I'm completely coping. At this point in time, I'm mad at the world. I lose my 5-0 because of a Bastion team alignment merchant, and so I claim my rewards, and what do you know? I actually hit exactly 2,500. Thanks for watching, guys. Hopefully you guys did enjoy. It's been your boy, Watomar Melon, and peace out.